Hey, and welcome back. You're probably wondering what happened to my ME/CFS. Well, I'm going to tell you. On this channel, I talk about everything related to health, and I put an East Asian medical spin on it or a holistic spin on it because that's what I do in my private practice. If you've been watching this channel about almost 2 years now, 2 years ago, I realized that I was one of the lucky ones who seemed to have gotten ME/CFS from that medical procedure we did a couple years prior. And it came on in a month. I was fine. I was out mountain biking in the high desert. And then over a month period, everything went wrong with my health. My blood pressure went through the roof. My digestion went off. I couldn't eat anything. I had this weird neck pain and all this pressure in the back of my head. I had body aches. There was just so many things that had gone wrong, and the fatigue was insane. My lung capacity was 0. Just going up 8 steps was too much for me. What made it even worse is that anytime I did even the slightest activity, so if I just did 10 minutes on the treadmill, I would be exhausted for a week. And that's the real key thing about ME/CFS, right? Is that any activity, you have a problem with your ability to create energy. So whenever you use energy, it can create a real deficit, which causes incredible fatigue, can cause muscle cramping. This wasn't the first time that I had experienced chronic fatigue syndrome. It was actually the second. But I can tell you, this time it was really different than the first time. So the first time was back in 2000 or so. And what I noticed at that time is, yeah, you would get tired and you would do like 4 hours of activity and then you'd be exhausted and you had all this body cramping, but I didn't have any of the other symptoms. I didn't have the high blood pressure, the digestive issue, the completely out of breath where you couldn't walk up steps, the dizziness, the headaches. I didn't have any of that other symptoms when I had CFS before the pandemic and before that medical procedure. It was after that medical procedure where ME/CFS took on a whole different range of symptoms. So it got crazy for a while, and it still is really crazy. I used Western medicine a lot, but I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but every time I went in to Western medicine, they told me I was fine. Everything was great. You looked fantastic. And I didn't feel fantastic. You know, I felt like I was going to stroke out any minute. But the EKGs, the CAT scans, the x-rays, all the blood tests, it said I was in great shape. And I knew better. So it was kind of a scary time because I really felt a bit abandoned, and I really had to start believing in myself and believing in alternative medicine and believing in East Asian medicine. And you should, right? You should believe in East Asian medicine because they've been using it for over 5,000 years. So mostly everything they know is very, very tested and very tried and very true. So I went back and I spent a boatload of time studying the ancient texts, studying the ancient theory, trying to figure out how that fits with what was going on with me today. And I didn't just use East Asian medicine. I was also researching all the studies that were coming out. And 2 years ago, I can tell you there wasn't much research happening here in the United States. So most of the studies were happening over in the Netherlands or in Germany or Sweden. They were all happening someplace else because of what they had to study to understand what was going on was something that is still censored today. So let me tell you how it's been going for me. So as I was working to recover my health, what I found is that probably about 30% of my clients also were suffering from the same types of experiences that I was suffering from. And over the last year with the flirt variant, that's even gotten weirder, right? So I was able to find through East Asian medicine a lot of options. And I have a book out that goes through pretty much a lot of the things that I've used in clinic, that I've used on my self to help recover my health. And there'll be a link up here someplace, okay? There'll be a link so that if you wanted to look at some of the ways that East Asian medicine can help, you can grab that book. I was able to use East Asian medicine to eliminate most of the symptoms, like the high blood pressure, like the inability to sleep. Definitely has put a big kink on the fatigue, got rid of the dizziness. So it was able to get rid of a lot of the things, the shortness of breath, but what it didn't seem to completely get rid of is the issues with the lungs. There still seems to be some lung damage. And I notice that whenever I start exercising and working out again. And you've probably heard that there's been a lot of congestive heart failure and a lot of heart issues. So I'm more careful now about how I start out my workouts because I just don't want to be another statistic. So about a year ago, I was feeling pretty good. I was feeling not as good as I do right now, but I was feeling pretty good. And so I started working out again, and I went up into the mountains, and that went completely sideways again. It didn't set me back to where I was when I first realized I had ME/CFS, but it set me back quite a ways. So this is the third time that I'm going to start my exercise routine to see how this all works out. And I'm going pretty slow because I don't want to have another repeat of the last 2 times when I was working out. I can still feel that there's a lot of weakness in my lungs. So if I'm exposed to pollution, to mold, mildew, smog, my lungs feel like they're burning up and I start losing my breath. So right now, outdoors, the air quality is really bad. So I've been staying indoors and trying to see what happens there. So it's been a lot better. I can sleep again. My insomnia used to be horrible. I was getting 2-3 hours of sleep at night. Now I get 8. My energy level's much better. I'm active throughout the day. It's just that I haven't been able to really do a lot of working out. And so we're going to see how that goes this time. And how I got here was through East Asian herbal medicine. I couldn't find help with Western medicine. They didn't have solutions. And they kept on saying that all my blood work, all my tests look fine. And if you experienced what I'm experiencing, you know that's not true. Okay, so there is light at the end of the tunnel. If you want to see things that we've been using in clinic, I have my book on Amazon. You can get a link to that. And if you want to work with me, check out my website, set up a tele appointment, and we can see what we can do to help improve your symptoms. Okay, until next time, I'll catch you on the other side.